How the heck are you guys? I'm Fastidious. Welcome back to the test server. We're back on the Fastidious test server to do something very, very fun today. I have teased it a bit, but we are trying out a brand new champion. She came out just yesterday on the Forerunner server and on the test server. This is never before seen content with this champion. I think you're gonna be really impressed. She is very, very cool. So without further ado, let's head into the gallery and check her out. Her name is going to be Kineza, the Staff of Chi. She's got this interesting chi mechanic that we're going to go over that makes her really unique. And also, she is the lover, the concubine, the mistress of Salazar. She might be his wife, it's unclear, but they've got a crazy kind of dual bond if you're able to obtain both those heroes for your roster. I'll just head to the story here. She's got a bit of a read. I did peruse through it. However, you can see here, it is a long read. That took me a while to find. But here you see, chance would have it that she then met Salazar, the Bloodblade chieftain, and life began anew. Though they contrasted immensely, their initial meeting was marked by mutual respect and a shared desire to heal. Recognizing the strength in one another, their friendship soon blossomed into something more profound. Anyway, they've got a great little synergy, the two of them, and she is very cool. So I already built her out. We're gonna do some nice testing. We're gonna bring her into the guild boss, but let's talk about her kit. So you can see I've got a nice little build here, 73,500 BP. You can see I've also been building up a little nightmare team we're gonna run her with, featuring these 3 DPS heroes. Let's talk about her skills and let's talk about her talent specifically, because this is very important to her kit. So her kit is built around something called Chi. It's like a special thing she has. You can see Chi, flowing life force. You can stack up to 3 times. At maximum number, this effect will instead regenerate 50 rage. So every time you would have regenerated a piece of Chi. So what does Chi do for you, and how do you gain it? Well, there's 2 ways. She can do any basic attack that will have a 15% chance of gaining 1 stack of Chi. Remember, it goes up to 3 before that just turns into rage regen. But then she also has dodge. So she's the second champion we have now after Cyclone. Cyclone is not good. Her dodge is really good. So when she does dodge, and we'll talk about how she can do that, she has a 100% chance of gaining 1 stack of Chi. So what does that Chi do for her? It's kind of hidden away. It's inside this separate passive move, Chi Shatter. If we skip to the last sentence, each stack of Chi makes basic attack and enhanced basic attack ignore 15% of defense. That is pretty nutty. Moreover, what is an enhanced basic attack? It's a strange read. You got to go back to the top. Enhances the next basic attack upon triggering any dodge, so that if it's a normal basic attack or she gets this enhanced thing from dodging, 240% damage. Pretty nuts, guys. And then if you get 3 stacks of Chi, guys, you're ignoring 45% of damage when this is skilled up. You're going to want to skill her up if you're going to use her. She's really, really powerful. Let's just break down the whole kit now. Deals 60% damage to one enemy twice. That's when it's skilled up, so 120% damage. Not so amazing. Someone like let me think for a second. Someone like Deimos, when he has his skill ups on his basic physical attack, it's a double hitter for 85% each, right? So that's 170%. This is only 120%. It's solid though. Then we've got this passive, originally has a 15% chance of dodge. So now we're talking about how the dodge works, and this is when it's skilled up. It starts at just 10. For every 100 attack speed, provides an extra 5% chance to dodge. So you're gonna wanna stack a dodge on her. This includes the 100 attack speed she starts with, that every champion starts with, every hero in this game. So we're going to try to get her in this build up to 400 attack speed. That's going to give an extra 20% chance to dodge. So she's got about 35% chance to dodge, right? Every 1 in 3 attacks she should dodge. Then she's going to get a stack of Chi. Every time she dodges, she's going to get a next basic attack enhanced. You can see there's a nice synergy going on in this kit. Finally, let's talk about the ultimate here. She's going to consume all the stacks of Chi. With each stack that she does consume, each one will deal 140% damage to enemies. Again, this is when it's skilled up, within range 1 time. So a bit of a nice AoE, little explosion. You can see the animation here. It's buffering a bit, but you can see, and you'll see it when we get into the fight, she has these glowing orbs that spin around her, these red-orange orbs. Those are the Chi. Afterwards, deals an additional 500% damage 1 time. She hits pretty hard. Finally, you see there's a special bond skill. This is Kismet Bond. It happens if you have Salazar. I've tested this out. It works whether he's deployed or even whether he's on the roster of the team you bring into the fight or not. So just having him on your roster, you will get this effect. So unfortunately, I could not test her without this effect, since we do have Salazar, since we have all the heroes, because guys, this isn't real. It's the test server. I thought about maybe eating my Salazar, but then what if I want to put out more content on Salazar? So we're going to see it with this effect. Once we obtain him, the damage, that surging roar, again, that is the ultimate. The damage that the ultimate Surging Roar deals by consuming a stack of chi is increased by 120%. So it goes from 145% skilled up all the way to 165%. She does some pretty nice damage. I'm gonna head into the guild boss now because I think that's the best raw comparison. I actually have set up 2 different fights for you to check her out in. For one of them, we are gonna have to quickly actually change her artifact. So the final fight you're going to see is going to be Nightmare 3. Just these 3 DPS are going to take down Nightmare 3 and get full blood. However, for this first fight, it's just going to be her alone with a little bit of support. So I do have Scarlet Hunt from when we are going to run her with Salazar. But for now, let's put something new on her. So let's take this Crystal of Vileness that we had on Wrath. And let's hop into the fight. So I'll let this run in the background and I'm gonna explain a couple things. You can see I've already unlocked an auto fight, so let's hop into this battle. Guys, she's pretty darn good in Guild Boss, as you're gonna see. She's comparable in her damage to a lot of champions. I don't wanna give it away now, but she's got really great damage. She's very solid as a member. She is Nightmare, she's a fighter. She fits perfectly into your Nightmare compositions. However, she's not like some crazy mind-blowing superstar like a Zeala 2, like a Hex or something. I do think part of that is because the attacks from the dragon in the guild boss are somewhat infrequent, so she's getting less opportunities to dodge. That 1 in 3 chance, once you get her full kit going and you get her attack speed really high, as you're going to see when we go over our build and gearing after the second fight here, you really see a lot of dodges. Keep an eye out here. Every time he attacks, it will say miss, and that means she dodged. But obviously he doesn't attack that often, right? But if you're in some fight like Artifact Material Raid or some classic melee combat, or if you deploy her like somewhere as like your melee unit on the floor in like Gear Raid 1, she is going to be dodging constantly. So she's going to have like crazy chi. You can see right now she doesn't have any chi actually. There's one, she just generated one, and there's a miss, she generated a second. Now she's got, actually it looks like she's got the full 3 stacks of chi. She got another one from a basic attack, and there they go, they all shoot in there on the ult. Some pretty big numbers, but it's not crazy. I would describe her as very good for the guild boss, and certainly she'll make your top 5 team members for whatever Nightmare comp you're running. She's really, really good. I just want to point out again with this comp what's going on. She's our only damage dealer. She's basically going to solo damage for Nightmare 1 here. If you look at Dolores, she's just providing the attack buffs, the inspiration. Elwyn's just providing heals and rage. And then these other people we brought were just warm Nightmare bodies to put on the floor to get that full lore bonus from Wrath and get that increased 35% attack speed. So actually, if you break it down, guys, she's going to be over 500 attack speed, right? So she's dodging all the time. So if you do a nice Nightmare comp, it works really well for generating that chi because her whole kit is built upon that, you know. But unfortunately, like I said, for the guild boss, there aren't enough attacks, and the way she could be taking damage a lot and getting attacks is by dot damage from the burns when he does Meteor Strike at higher levels. However, it's not really going to happen here because she does miss those like a third of the time, so that you can't rely on it. There is RNG that goes into her kit with the dodge. You see she did not dodge there. Let's see if she dodges here. She didn't. Yeah, it's basically 1 in 3 with the build we've got going. Actually, a little bit higher. It's more like 40% because I didn't think about it, but with the 35% increase in attack speed, we're over 500 attack. We'll go over the full build at the end. Let's check the stats there. I think you'll be pretty impressed. I mean, the fact that she can just solo it, granted, it's some pretty great DPS, but almost 1,800 blood. That is way beyond the threshold of what we needed. You can see I've done a lot of fights on it today, and you can see 15.2 million damage. That's pretty nasty, guys. That's pretty nasty. You see, these guys were just down for 1 second, and I picked them up, and of course our healers didn't do any damage at all. So there's fight number 1, guys, totally soloing, at least damage wise. She did have some support from Elwyn and Dolores. Now let's go to Nightmare 3. Let's do this fight together. I was thinking we don't even need to deploy Wrath. I really want to highlight this team I've got going. The exact same kind of thing is going to happen here, guys, where we're getting rage regen and heals from Elwyn. We're also going to get heals by having Volca. And then we've got Dolores for inspiration, extra attack. We're only going to use these 3 DPS. We'll get some DPS, of course, from Volca as well, but these guys have our solid gear. And I do want to put a caveat. I don't have good enough gear to make everyone have perfectly equal stats, as you're going to see at the end when I show you the gear. I did my best, but what I do want to highlight is that it's really these 3 damage dealers. We're using Volca, provide a little extra healing, a little extra support, but mostly get those vulnerabilities up from her ultimate. It's pretty cool, you're gonna see. So we want to max out our damage here and have a great little 3-man DPS comp. So we're gonna get that vulnerability to physical damage. That's gonna help us a ton. Let's hop into this battle. It's gonna take me a second to set up, so I'll set it on 1x. But yeah, I don't even think we need Wrath. I did do him in testing, but I think it's gonna be pretty fun right now to just do it without him. So you also see, guys, she's 14 costs. We'll break that all down at the end. But we can place her. Let's place Salazar right behind her. That's pretty important for the comparison I want to run. We'll put Arrogance right there, and we can put Wrath here. We can put Volca here. Excuse me. I actually realizing I didn't even need to put down Wrath. We could put Volca over there. Let's pick Wrath up because now we have our 4 units. We can put Dolores here. So unfortunately, she's not going to cover Volca, but Volca is not our primary DPS here. And then actually, Eloin, I can't place her in a spot since this spot's taken by Dolores that she can also provide rage regen to Arrogance. So let's just let this thing run. We can already trigger Eloin to get some rage regen going. You see, we're bringing Venoma here just to reduce the cost of the ult for Eloin. But aside from that, we're just going to let this run. This is not perfectly optimal. I've only tested this like twice. I will be cycling Dolores 2 for 1 every shield, but for now, for the first one, I want to make sure it's set up perfectly. But yeah, we just wait and keep an eye on the numbers. It's pretty cool. So we can trigger, we can trigger, we can trigger, we can trigger. You see, we just melt that shield. It's just like instantaneously gone. It's kind of crazy. This team here is doing like as much, if potentially it might even do more damage than my like proper, thoughtful, built out team that I run on my actual account. And this is like only a 6-man team. So yeah, we're gonna sit on this. We can already trigger Eloin. We can quickly trigger Dolores. We're gonna try to go for a 2 for 1. It's not perfect, but we'll get pretty close. For the other guys, we're going to save their ults. One thing I'll also mention, guys, if you can probably see it, we don't have a little icon of Kineza down here because she has an auto ult, which is it's just good and bad in different ways. We can trigger there, we can trigger there. Dolores wasn't ready, unfortunately, but you can see that shield just pops like it's absolutely nothing. While the shield is down, we should hopefully be able to trigger Dolores quickly. Like I said, the attack speed is not perfectly speed tuned for Dolores. But it's the best we can do, and I still think, I mean, look at these numbers. 2 shields down, and we're already over 4K with this tiny little team here. But yeah, I think, like I said, you're going to be very impressed with what she can do at the end. However, it's like solidly like A+ S tier damage. It is not S+ God tier damage. That's what I would say. I'm going to save Dolores actually this time for the shield so we can really pop off once phase 3 is settled and we finish the last shield. But you see, we're going to absolutely obliterate this thing. Trigger, trigger, trigger. It just pops off like it's nothing, even with this tiny team. A little bit of resistance from shield number 3, but even still, there we go. So we need that 6,500. We're easily going to get it. We can trigger Eloin there. And just 3 DPS, kind of 3.5, but Volca's really just an attack speed build, just to keep her ult up. Now we can just start triggering. Guys, let me know what you think of her so far. We'll break down I'll go over everyone's gear quickly, but then we'll do a full breakdown on how I chose to build her. And keep in mind, you'll see it when we do Eloin. Eloin is wearing the Orb of Euphoria, and we actually do need that last 30 attack speed to guarantee we get to the 500 attack speed we're running on her, because we want to get that chi, baby. It's all about that chi. She's a really cool champion, and I love these unique champions, and I love that they continue adding people to the game. I like the bond synergy stuff. So let's see, how did we do in the end? The dragon is going to fly away. We can skip. A very healthy, almost 7,500 blood there. We took off about 13,500% of his total health. Pretty good stuff. Let's head in here. And you can see she's definitely a notch below our Salazar. You can see, like I said, Volca is not really contributing DPS-wise. She's not in that build. Arrogance is like borderline God tier, I would say, for how good he is at the guild boss. You know, he's like not super God. He's like just a solid S below, you know, like the Zealotus and the Hexes of the world. But then we got Salazar, and she's kind of just like the same way Salazar's below Arrogance, she is below Salazar. So that should give you a decent sense. She's pretty good. She also, the effects she gives Salazar, let's actually quickly go and look at everyone's builds really quickly. She does also give a bond skill to Salazar. That you can see here. Doesn't help too much for this fight, but it's going to help with general content because it increases his max HP by 20% when Kineza, the Staff of Chi, is unlocked and this Blessing of the Dragon gets triggered. So 5 seconds, an extra 20% max HP, pretty solid. I'll just show you his build here. Guys, these builds aren't perfect. I went for a Wisdom set and a Calamity set. About 2 and 3 chance to crit, some very solid attack speed. Good attack, which is quite easy to build on Salazar, minus 1% attack interval, some solid crit damage as well. I will show you the artifact. On all 3 of these main DPS guys, we are running a fully maxed out Scarlet Hunt, and also worth mentioning, on my Salazar, I chose to bring him to A1 to get this increased chance to get the bleed, because we really wanted high uptime. Really, the difference in damage between her and Salazar probably does come to that bleed, that dot damage, the damage over time. But yeah, that's our Salazar build. Let's very quickly go over Arrogance. We went for a Fracture set. I'm doing sets because I think it's fun, super not necessary. 78% crit, decent amount of crit damage. Again, I went for some pretty high attack speed, not as high as Salazar and certainly not as high as Kineza. But we also get the big boost from Wrath, so 235. There you can see 1.7 interval. Solid build as well. Rage Regen is definitely missing from these because I don't have it in the Pantheon, but once I get better gear, I will get better builds. We didn't have to just look at Wrath. We can look at our 2 support units, and then we'll obviously wrap up with Kineza. She is the most important. So we got Eloin right here, broken set, a little bit of salvation, touch of healing effect, some nice attack speed, pretty solid attack, but it's really about just a bit of rage regen and a lot of attack speed so she can keep going with that ult. And then most important, Dolores, all you really need to see here, high attack speed. Unfortunately, no rage regen. This gear definitely needs work, and we got the attack as high as I could get it, so 11.1k. She was in the Ancestral Teachings as well. Finally, guys, Kineza, the Lady of the Hour. Oh, you know what? I forgot to put Scarlet Hunt on her. I'll run it again right now, guys, with Scarlet Hunt, and we'll see how the damage compares. All right, folks, so the fight is winding down now. Going to be very interesting to see how the damage compares. Looks like we're a bit better this time. I'm really most curious to see how she compares to Salazar, because quite frankly, last time I expected them to be a lot closer. So let's get in there. 7.8k blood now, so definitely about, what is that, 300 blood more or so? We'll just save that in case for some reason I want to run it again. There you go. It is a lot closer. So Scarlet Hunt definitely makes a difference. Now she's getting that big benefit. Definitely an amazing artifact to run if you're going to run a bleed champion. Okay, so let's go back to Kineza now and talk about her build. So guys, I went for attack speed. I don't have the best gear, as I've said many times. So we did do an attack speed main on her amulet. We did get some nice crit rate, some nice crit damage. I went for this insight set because I did get her at 100% crit rate. Thought it was a nice rounded out little build here. If we look here, some more crit rate and attack bonus, then we've got some nice crit rate, some healing effect, which is potentially nice, guys. We'll talk about her awakenings, but she can self-heal if you get her awaken 1. Some great attack bonus, some crit damage, but not a perfect build at all, so some nice crit rate. But what's most important is going to be, first off, she's a 2.3 second interval champion. We'll talk about base stats to conclude this video, but 2.3 second interval, she's officially the first champion I've seen, this hero in this game, that has 2.3 second interval. It usually goes from 2.4 to 2.2. Got a full second off there, but guys, she's at 375. If you include the extra bonus from Orb of Euphoria, let me pull Eloin out now in case you guys are not familiar. That's going to be an extra attack speed so basically a 2 to 1 uptime of 30 seconds, 40 seconds for every 60 seconds. She's going to get an extra 30, so that will put her right over to 405. Then if you include the plus 35% from Wrath, from the Lord bonus, very comfortably she's sitting over 500 attack speed. So we're getting really a nice benefit. Let's go back to the gear and break down the rest of the build. She's got very high base attack, as you'll see. So we got 17.2k attack. What else we got? 100% crit, not such high crit damage at 185%, and unfortunately, again, no rage regen, which hurts us, but it's really just a fault of our gear. So hard to get awakenings on legendary heroes, but let's just break them down really quickly. Awakened 1, this is the coolest one and probably obviously the easiest one to get. Awakened 1, each stack of chi restores 3% HP per second. If you get full stacks, that's 9% HP per second. She's gonna have tons of dodge as well. She's gonna be basically unkillable. It's tremendous stuff. Crit damage plus 15%, kind of a standard one. Awaken 3, this one is cool. Surging Roar, that is the ultimate. It deals 100% increased damage on the final strike. So now instead of 500%, 600% and it can inflict stun. Stun is underpowered, but a bit of crowd control. Awaken 4, rage regen attack +2, so an extra 2 points of rage generated per attack that she does. She's going to be very high attack speed. You will see a difference with this one. Finally, Awaken 5, for every stack of chi consumed, increases attack speed by 100 after casting Surging Roar, last 10 seconds. So if you have full stacks, when you consume them all with Surging Roar, the ultimate, that's an extra 300 attack speed. So ours would be at 800 attack speed. We're getting an extra 5% dodge per 100, so that's an extra 40% on top of the 15%, 55% chance to dodge. If you can get her A5, she will be cracked. Guys, let's go to the gallery and talk about base stats, and we'll wrap it up right there. Let me know in the comments what you think of Kineza. Hopefully in the future, if you guys want to see more, I can bring her into other content. I do think she's very, very good in Guild Boss, and I think it's the most clear display of her abilities. However, she probably is going to shine the most in things like Void Rift and things like Artifact Mature Raid. Potentially, I could even see her working in Gear Raid 1. We'd have to see it. She wouldn't be like a superstar, but she's just going to be constantly dodging, have like endless chi. So where is that girl? I think I just saw her. Here she is. So we got Kineza, guys. Let's talk base stats. Very high, 5.8k attack. I believe that's only going to be lower than Salazar, Lugaru, and Valeria. Let me know if I'm missing anyone. HP is solid. It's not crazy high like some of these other champions, like any of those ones I just mentioned, but it is good, almost 20k HP. It's solid. Her cost is very low, guys. Very low at only 14. For how good a champion she is, that is a very, very low cost. That's like one more cost than Mari, you know, who's just a support champion. She's got 2 block, very standard. She's got 1 tile of range, very standard. 2.3 second attack control, very unique. First champion to have that. And that about covers it. She is really, really cool, guys. I think she looks great. I think it's fun that they have this little lover story between her and Salazar. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if you enjoy spotlights like this. Give it a like if you like it. Like I said, comment if you want. Share it with your mother. I've been Fastidious. I'll see you in the next one.
Fastidious.